So here we are. This is page 228. Abraham's with us. This is page 228, and it's actually exercise 1 that began on page 227. It mentions Manchester and Newcastle and Munich. Too many words, just give me numbers. Numbers are good. This is maths. So look at question 2. The reason I wanted you to print off those sheets with Venn diagrams last lesson was because it saves you a job doing it the longhand way. And whilst Tyann did print it off and showed me a screenshot, maybe the colourful yellow stuff didn't come out. It's really important that you get the shading right, because A union B means something different to A intersection B, and shading will help you to memorise that. Okay, so I will talk you through question 2, which isn't an extension of year 8, it is year 8. But some of this notation is a bit strange. I'll talk about that one especially. So just follow my mouse briefly. All I ask you to do is 2 questions, and I will talk you through question 2. So the Venn diagram, the universe of whole numbers goes from 10 to 20 inclusive, and you're supposed to study set A and give a sensible suggestion for the naming of set A. What do you call set A, just by looking at it? Yes, even numbers. There's nothing else. Oh, Ibrahim's going to come in. Good. Yeah, I think we're up to date now. So we got even numbers. What would you call set B as a sensible kind of description, maybe? Well, 10 isn't odd. 20 isn't odd. 10 and 20 also belong to set B, remember? So they're not odd numbers. Yeah, they're multiples of 5. These are the older brothers and sisters of 5. 5 is the baby, of course, and that's 3 5s, 2 5s, 4 5s. And so we've got even numbers from 10 to 20. We've got multiples of 5 from 10 to 20. Of course, 10 is included in that. And then we have those who don't belong to either even numbers or multiples of 5. And these happen to be odd numbers. Even though 15's odd, it's a multiple of 5. The other 4 on the outside don't belong to either set, and they just happen to be prime numbers. But you don't identify them as a set. They just don't belong to A, and they don't belong to B. So now we're ready to rock and roll. When it says Faz, A union B, it means everything in A and everything in B, including the overlap. So if I was to shade this in my yellow highlighter, I'll go scribble, 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 and fill it all out. It wants you to list the elements, and just to remind you, it wants curly brackets. So you open up a curly bracket, and you go A union B, which is these numbers here. So you go 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 15. The order doesn't matter, but all the elements must be present, because you're going to unite all of A with all of B, like that. Okay, so that's the answer to that bit. Again, then you close it off with a curly bracket like that. Here we have A intersection B. It's where A and B have common elements. So the 2 common elements of A and B, of course, is the intersection here. If I was yellowing, I'll be doing that right now. So we've got 10 and 20. Because 10 is an even number, it's a multiple of 5. 20 is an even number, it's a multiple of 5. So that's it. Anybody remember what A complement means from last lesson? A dash, A prime. What does A complement mean, that little dash there? Do you recall? Everything. Say that again, Tyann. Was that you, Tyann? Hi, Zaim. Hi. So what did you say that was, sir? Say it again. Yeah, everything not in A. So it's A not. Okay, think of it like that. Yeah, so in other words, it's going to be, I can't have 10 and 20, because even though 10 and 20 belong to B, they also belong to A. So that's out of bounds. So you would list squiggly bracket, 15, 19, 17, 13, 11, bam. All these are outside of A. That includes that 15, which is outside of A, even though 15 is within the set. So that's it. Now this one's quite difficult to interpret, actually, and I'm actually going to draw on my textbook in front of you right now, since it's the one I work from home. Can somebody translate what this means? This is difficult to get your head around. It's A, complement, intersection, B, complement. And you can say it in any way you like. Use your best walking family. That's exactly right. It's A not intersecting with B not. So where do all the outcasts from A meet with all the outcasts from B? Answer, they meet outside of A and B. So this is the answer, 11, 13, 17, 19. In fact, I'm going to write in my book now in front of you. It's the same as this. It's A union B, close bracket, not. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Now, A union B is all of this shaded, A, and that bit, and that bit. Now I'm saying it's A union B, no it's not, dash, complement, which means it's everything outside of the union of A and B. Is that all right? It's a different way of looking at it, which is why that particular example is quite confusing both now and at GCSE, because there's two ways of identifying not in A colliding and intersecting with not in B. It clearly means the stuff on the outside, or you can refer to it as A united with B, brackets, boom, not. Okay, you arrive at the same place, and that's question 2 done. And what I need you to do, children, if you please listen to my voice, is to copy that, because if you just do that with the answers without that, you wouldn't know where you got them from. So please, Henry, Zaim, anyone else who hates drawing, copy that nicely, and then you can go squiggly bracket him. And also, Brendan, one other thing, don't just write down A union B 12, 14, 16, 18, etc. Write down A union B equals squiggly bracket, put the numbers, close the squiggly bracket. So you've defined the set very clearly. You've got the set's ID, identification, and you've got the elements belonging to that set. Okay, now for question 3, you can do 3 Venn diagrams of your own. So your Venn diagram will have members drawn from this universe, and please note they're just odd numbers. So don't think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Think 1, 3, 5, etc. And you're going to stop at 19 because 20 is not an odd number. So the first thing I suggest you do is redefine that set. Not just odd numbers from 1 to 20, but literally list them in a curly bracket, because you're going to miss some out. You're just going to, if you don't think carefully, you can miss them out. And your first Venn diagram will look like the one just there. So in terms of practicalities, you need a compass, or you go down to the kitchen and you get a cup or a glass and you do the rings first. If you don't do the rings first, I promise you, you're going to do the rectangle and then the rings will be too small, you won't be able to see what's going on. So do a decent sized set of rings that overlap first, and then pick up your ruler, and I did say ruler, Henry, which is good, and you just do the rectangle outside to enclose that universe. All right, so we've got 2 sets in the universe. You know the multiples of 3, you know what prime numbers are, but I can pretty much guarantee not everything between 1 to 20 is going to be a multiple of 3, and not everything from 1 to 20 is going to be a prime number. There will be some outcasts still within the universe, but outside A and B. Is that all right? So, you know, I'm asking you to copy that, write this as you see it, and underneath open up a squiggly bracket, put in the elements or the members, close the bracket, and then you're done. And then you do your own version of these. There's 3 of them. If you can take half a page for each one, then the Venn diagram will be a good size into which you can populate the sets, and also the excluded members, but still members of the universe nonetheless. They're definitely aliens. They don't belong in planet A or planet B. They are outside of those 2 planets. All right, that's all I need you to do. Has anyone got any questions at this point in terms of the way to set it out, where to find a glass in your kitchen, Don't use a mug because mugs are way too big, I think. But hey, it's up to you. I don't mind. You know, if you've got the paper, then do it. But you need to draw. Your 3 questions will look like this. It will have an A and a B. This will have multiples of 3 in it. This will have prime numbers in it. And this would have neither multiples nor primes. Has Tyan just left the room and come back in? What's the situation with Tyan? Anyone know? Was he here before? Via? Was Tyan here before? Okay, Via's gone as well. Right, so what can I do? Okay, so 13. Yeah, 12U1 of me makes sense. All right, so you've now got to go and do question 2 and question 3. Please write down also the fact that it's exercise 2 on page 227. It's probably on Show My Homework anyway, but I planned this last Saturday morning, so it's time ago for me, so I can't remember. So I'm telling you now, there are those 2 questions. Copy, do your own. And I think we're done.